So, as we're headed towards the end of the year, I've recently been reflecting a lot more on my life and what has happened in this crazy year. And I'm not just talking about the madness of the pandemic, like with the elections and the protests and riots and all that. I'm talking about philosophical and personal life lessons, which I want to share with you guys. I used to take time for granted. I wasted hours just scrolling through social media and watching Netflix. I felt like I was playing a game of who can waste the most time, and I was winning. But once this lockdown happened, I asked myself, am I going to continue to waste time or actually make the most out of my life? I got myself together and started becoming more intentional with my time. I prioritized activities that brought the highest meaning and value to me, such as by doing my most important task, exercising, spending time with my loved ones, and starting my passion project, which is this channel and my blog. In the book Confidence Gap by Russ Harris, there are a couple of powerful rules that just completely changed my perspective on life. Rule 1, the actions of confidence come first. Prior to reading that book, I didn't even have the courage to start this channel or my blog. I had been postponing and making excuses for months, telling myself, I'll do it when I feel confident and comfortable enough. But I realized that it is by taking action first, then I will acquire the feelings of courage and confidence. Another rule is Rule 2. Genuine confidence is not the absence of fear, it is a transformed relationship with fear. I learned that the fear will always be there no matter what. If it is something valuable and important to you, of course you'll be scared. The only difference between you and others is how you respond to that fear. I hope to keep applying this book in all aspects of my life, so I created a list of all the things I want to do to step out of my comfort zone. Before quarantine, I was just like most New Yorkers, hustling and grinding every minute, every hour, and every day. I was sleep deprived, stressed, and cranky, but this lockdown forced me to slow down and focus on self-care. I started to take care of the foundations of health, such as getting 8 hours of sleep, eating a healthy diet, drinking enough fluids, treating myself to a massage, and taking walks outside. I think of our bodies like a car. It also needs to replenish with rest and fuel, and it's important not to always keep driving over the speed limit. I've come to realize that when things start to become challenging in life, people tend to reveal their true colors. We've seen people do crazy things out of desperation. It made me question, under financial, physical, and mental stress, will a person compromise their own morals out of desperation? And I have no right to judge anyone for their actions, since I don't know what kind of suffering they have been through. But on the positive side, I also saw extremely compassionate and kind-hearted heroes. I witnessed countless acts of kindness, such as with organizations donating as much resources as they can, frontliners doing their best to assist everyone, and regular citizens stepping up to contribute as well. But focusing on the moment of kindness definitely restored my faith in humanity. I've come to realize that challenging times can either strengthen or weaken your character. In Buddhist temple classes, I constantly heard the message being repeated that life is suffering. But I never understood this because my life generally felt very comfortable and secure. When this pandemic hit, the world seemed to be on fire and everything seemed to be coming to an end. Endless suffering was seen on the news. And knowing this, I knew I had to cherish every single day. And I'm sorry to go on a darker side, but death does not give a damn how old you are. This message itself was so important to me because I used to think, oh, I'm 20, I'm practically invincible, and I have a whole long life ahead of me. But we don't know if that's true. Life could just end like that at the snap of the fingers. Once I came to realize this truth, I began to cherish every day I woke up alive and healthy. I also ended every night by writing in my gratitude journal to list 3 things I'm grateful for each day. It allowed me to reflect upon the little things in life. Once I realized what all the negative content consumption was doing to my mental health, I decided it was time to change how I reacted and responded to these things. I asked myself, am I going to keep worrying about everything that was wrong with the world? The obvious answer was no, so I started to change my response. First, I slowly limited the amount of negative media consumption I was taking. Although it's important to stay up to date, I didn't feel the need to monitor the news 24/7 anymore. If it's something really that urgent, my friends and family will alert me. And second, I shifted my focus to things that were in my control, such as activities that brought me inner peace, like taking walks, doing yoga, reading, and playing the guitar. I felt much more clarity, peace, and in control of my life. I was stressing over little things that now seem so pointless and small when you consider what's going on around the world. I began to realize that I was being a complete drama queen. I got this from don't sweat the small stuff, but I came to find a little humor in my complaining by thinking, wow, my soap opera is on air right now. So every time I encounter a problem, I will always try to ask myself, is this worth the stress? Am I being a drama queen? Will this even matter 1, 5, 10 years from now? Not only did I neglect myself, but I neglected my loved ones before. I was too consumed in my schoolwork and work, so I always never made the time to really be present and spend time with them. I would tell them that I'm too busy, too tired, or I'd be distracted whenever we managed to spend time together. But this lockdown also made me realize I needed to cherish every moment I had with them. I intentionally reserve time with my loved ones now. In the morning, I take walks and do yoga with my mom. I call up long-distance family members and chat with them for hours. I constantly remind myself, don't let them get the leftovers of your schedule. Let them get the primary slot. We saw that many businesses were forced to shut down and many employees, including myself and my mother, were let go. So we need to realize that a job itself is not secure, but your own skills are. The more skills and knowledge you have, the more confident and secure you will be in your future pursuits. I see jobs moving in a more online presence, so I believe our skills really need to keep up with that. I personally believe skills such as tech savviness, online marketing, creativity, complex problem solving, and time management will be very essential. The world will keep changing, so we need to constantly adapt when it comes to skill building. I'm kind of going on a rich dad, poor dad rant here, but hear me out. I'm so frustrated that schools often teach us things that aren't even applicable and relevant to our life. Sometimes school can seriously kill creativity and motivation by forcing us to take classes we're not even interested in. The main point I'm trying to make is don't rely on school itself for your education. Now that we have moved towards more online learning, I believe students have come to realize self-education is necessary. There's plenty of resources online you can find to advance your education, which are more relevant and applicable to your career. Don't even just stop at your career interests. Learn about things you are passionate about. Imagine paying below $30 to learn something which a 40 to 50K college can't even teach. During quarantine, I didn't just confine myself to science. I studied up on real estate, Spanish, finance, blogging, video production, and so much more. Have you ever noticed in a conversation that everyone is just talking over one another and constantly interrupting each other? It seems more like a political battle rather than a peaceful conversation. We all know the classic book, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. The truth is, most people prefer good listeners over talkers. People want to feel heard and understood rather than told what to do. Before reading that book, I would be too focused on what I would say next rather than truly listening to what the other person was saying. That book taught me the value of becoming a good listener by asking open-ended questions, talking about topics that interest the other person, and just simply trying my best to actively listen. To quote Seneca, wherever there's a human being, there's an opportunity for kindness. I asked myself, is it going to cost you anything for being kind to others? Why are we so stingy when it comes to being kind to others? I concluded that it was my own ego that stood in the way. I had too many what-if scenarios in my mind. What if I smile at and greet a stranger but they dismiss me coldly? What if I donate to a corrupted organization? What if volunteering is a waste of my time? What if I'm not doing enough? I decided to let go of my stupid ego and chatty mind and just take action no matter how small it is. Whether it be simply writing a heartfelt message to someone, smiling at a stranger, thanking delivery men, donating and volunteering. The intention is just to keep doing kind acts regardless of the outcome and impact. Overall, this year was definitely filled with lots of suffering, chaos, and shock, but in times of suffering, we all can learn some valuable life lessons which we can hopefully carry with us for decades. I don't believe a single video or 12 life lessons can do justice to the value we can get from this crazy year, but it's a good start, and these lessons have personally been valuable to my life. Let us hope we can end this year closer to wisdom and aim for positive light in 2021. And I would like to end this video on this quote. Thanks for watching.